It is fall, my favorite time of year, even though the Missouri weather did not get the memo. It is October 6th and it is sunny and in the 70s. Thanks climate change. Thanks Obama. Is that still a thing anymore? Probably not. Anyway, today we're gonna do my book recommendations for fall. And I'm not much of a horror girly, but I do have some spooky recommendations along with some just like nice, cozy autumnal reads. I also have like a section where it's books that I can definitely recommend because I've read them and enjoyed them. And then I have my TBR section, which are just books that sound like they match the vibe. I love to give these suggestions because I feel like so many people who love spooky season love like the really horrific, gore-filled or like scary vibe books, and I can't indulge in those. I don't like those. I don't need the nightmares. I'm good, thank you. Also, I have a fun little collab that I'm doing with my friend. They are super dope artist Portion, who you can follow on Instagram, and they also have an Etsy, and they created some bookity marks that correspond to the fall books I'm going to be recommending. So they're doing a giveaway. All the doodads, details will be in the description below. Go check it out. Without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we have Salem's Lot by Stephen King. And I think you can take my word on this because I'm not a Stephen King girly. I'm not like obsessed with him. And so this one was like actually good. I have not liked everything by Stephen King. I read Carrie when I was in high school and it bored me to pieces. Like I was just so not here for it. And a lot of the length of that book, I didn't think was warranted. I think you could have cut 300 pages out. It would have been a much better book. But Salems Lot, it's a good time. Now it's still like a really thick book, but it didn't feel, it like had a good pace to it. It didn't feel like, oh my God, this will never end. It's about this like small town that starts to like have weird things going on, and the main characters figure out like, oh shit, there'd be some vampires that we gotta deal with. The like narration like covers a large chunk of like the town residents, and so it's really, really interesting, and you get like kind of this full perspective of everything that's going on in this town with all of the different residents, some vampires, some not, and so it kind of warrants the length. I felt like it transitioned smoothly so you weren't confused. And so I wasn't like terrified by this by any means. I do think there's like maybe the small occasional gore, but like nothing crazy. I'm a scaredy cat. So if I can handle it, you can probably handle it. And it was a very cool atmospheric slow burn read. It was good spooky season vibes. Highly recommend. Next, I have included a nonfiction rec for you guys. It's called Spook Science Tackles the Afterlife by Mary Roach. I think somewhere along the way it got a different title because like when I was like Googling it, it apparently sometimes goes as 6 feet over. My kitchen lights are in the spooky spirit and they are like doing an on and off Morse code thing. So I don't know if that's going to affect the lighting for this video or not. So, atmosphere. I love me a Mary Roach book. I've read almost everything by her. She is like this journalist that kind of dives down like a general like rabbit hole genre, but then it goes in like really quirky, interesting directions. She's super funny. She finds like the weirdest things about stuff. So in this one, as you can imagine, it's everything about ghosts and the afterlife and ectoplasm and like these weird psychic medium types, and you know, it's just a wild ride, and it's an interesting look. Like apparently Arthur Conan Doyle, who, if you don't know, wrote the Sherlock Holmes series, got really obsessed with the afterlife at one point. Yeah, so it's just interesting. It's like a cool juxtaposition, and like, I don't know, it might be like fun like after like watching all those like Halloween movies to kind of be like, oh, well actually the science of ectoplasm says, I don't know. Maybe that's the Ravenclaw in me. It's just like, oh, trivia. Super fun, super interesting. It's a good time, so I had to recommend it. Next we have Horns by Joe Hill. For those who don't know, Joe Hill is actually Stephen King's son, but they have like their own style. So very different. Horns, totally shorter than I think probably anything Stephen King's ever written. It's a regular size book versus like the massive paperweight that Stephen King novels are, so it's less intimidating. The main character wakes up one day and he has horns, and it gives him the ability to like, when he's around people, to like word vomit their like darkest secrets. And the premise is that people think he murdered his girlfriend, but he didn't. And now with this like new ability, he's gonna like run around town and try to figure out people's secrets so he can figure out who the real murderer is. And has a good sense of humor as well. It was a good time. It was a real page turner. I was curious to see what would happen. Very intriguing. I think I read it in 1 to 2 sittings, and full Halloween spooky moment. Last, for the ones that I can personally recommend, I have a slot for what I consider to be a nostalgic read. So I think of fall and autumn is like the perfect time to like cuddle up with a good book, good reread, something from your childhood that's nostalgic, maybe coming of age, going back to school vibes. And for me, that's Harry Potter. That is a full moment. It takes me back. It's super relaxing. I know how everything's gonna work out in the end. And so when things get stressful, it's nice to just like have a familiar read that you can turn to. Now, if you're upset with J.K. Rowling, pick a different childhood favorite book for you. You do you. And now I'm going to talk about 3 books that I've added to my TBR that fit this seasonal vibe that I'm going for. Hopefully they're good. First we have The Bake Shop on Pumpkin and Spice by Donna Kaufman, but it also looks like she had co-authors Kate Engel and Allison Charles. This is like a cozy mystery. I've never read a cozy mystery, believe it or not, and this seems like the vibe. Like, totally takes place in the fall, has a Halloween parade, has baked goods in it. Like, I don't know, like it's full check marks, full points. Cozy mysteries feel like fall/winter books to me. So like that is just the full spectrum right there. What more could you ask for? And so I'm really hoping this book turns out because it seems like it'd be like a good moment. So yeah, why not? Then we have Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. I never heard of this one by her before. It fits the assignment, guys. I mean, a teenager is murdered in a tub of apples at a Halloween party. Hello. Apparently that teen, before getting murdered, had boasted about being a witness to a murder. So now the detective has to go in and being like, yo, what happened here? Is there 1 or 2 murders here? I'm sure that's exactly what he sounds like, yo. If you want just a mystery, this seems like the book. And then finally we have Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is like a classic that I have not read or watched. So if you have, let me know down below if you recommend those for me. But it seems like it seems like a nice moment. I think it's just contemporary. I don't know if there's actually magic involved. Essentially, the story as I understand it is 2 sisters that grew up with their weird aunts who kind of just let the small town believe that they were witches. And that's like women being full out weird and unapologetic about it. Yes, more of that. So hopefully it's good. And there you have it. So those are my books for fall, and hopefully the weather will slowly reflect it because I'm really wanting a nice moment where it's like chilly outside, maybe a bit rainy, and I get to just stay inside with a blanket and a book and read one of these. Let me know down below which of these you're adding to your list. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Pumpkin spice latte is here. The Starbucks gods have decreed it fall. Now, of course, Starbucks hates me, so I don't get to have pumpkin spice this year again because they put milk in it.